What is up, everyone? Welcome to another solo edition to the Rated G podcast. I'm your host, G. Dorado. For those of you who are new here, welcome to the show. Here on the podcast, I'd like to sit down and talk about all things art and creativity, as well as other events and happenings in life. And I often sit down with other fellow artists and creatives to get to know them better and to help promote their brand. So if you enjoy this type of content, please be sure to follow if you're listening, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, ring the notification bell, that way you can keep up with the uploads, and like, comment, share, all that good jazz to help the growth of the podcast, especially my channel, right? If you can click all those buttons on YouTube. And if you want to follow me and any of my guests on the program, you can find the links in the description below. And before I officially start all the discussions that I have planned for this episode, I want to actually thank the new YouTube subscribers. As of late, I don't know, I made quite a jump, just personally speaking. Like, I don't, I really don't have a lot comparatively, but for me, just, kind of like where I started, um, we're close to 300 subs, and that's good for me. So, don't judge. If you have like thousands of subscribers. No, but yeah, it's really cool. I'd like to I do believe a lot of the subs are coming from people watching my shorts. I've been very consistent with that, and I've spoken about this on another previous solo episode. I want to make more I want to make more full length content. I have some stuff planned. I got footage recorded. I just haven't been able to sit down to edit those videos, like art videos. So yeah, if you are one of those new subscribers, just be a little more patient and I'll have some new videos up other than the podcast and shorts. But again, I just want to say thank you for subscribing. It really does mean a lot. And leaving comments on my shorts, just like acknowledging my work. And it's all been gravy. So yeah, thanks again. Um Now, as if you are watching, you may notice I am rocking some DBZ gear in honor of the late Akira Toriyama, the godfather of anime, the creator of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Super GT, which is like, they kind of erased that. But yeah, man, it was a shocking loss for us anime fans. And it's just crazy to see what an impact he's had on the genre, right? And he's especially um not that very long ago they announced his latest project, Sandland, which I guess started as a manga, and they developed a video game based off of that. And I want to say maybe like a mini series or a series based off of that as well. So, fingers crossed that that will be a success, considering this is the last thing we're getting from Akira. So, yeah, I hope it's a success. From what I've seen based off the trailers, they look, it seems interesting and fun. I will say I wish that the game was going to release on Xbox One because that's the system I have, but it's only gonna be releasing on Series X, I think it's called, right? Um, so that part's a bummer. Like maybe eventually it'll be available on all consoles, but yeah, when the show comes out, I'll definitely be tuning in and checking that out for sure. But yeah, R.I.P. man. R.I.P. Phew. For those listening, I was imitating the instant transmission. Anyway. Um, yeah, it's kind of wild, right? I was thinking about when exactly I was uh introduced to Dragon Ball. And for me, it was out of order. Especially like my memory, because I have vague memory of like, you know, I don't know, I had to be at maybe 5 younger, but I just remember trying to wake up early, like before sunrise to catch Dragon Ball. Ooh, my voice just cracked. To catch Dragon Ball on TV. And I have the very vague memories, but I also have this memory. I think I was officially first introduced to one of the Dragon Ball Z movies, and it was again, this is based off of what I can remember, but it was movie 7 with Super Android 13. I think it's also titled the Battle of the Three Super Saiyans. Um, but as far as I can remember, that was the first, at least Dragon Ball Z. Uh, that was like the first thing I was exposed to. I believe my oldest brother showed me that movie, and it was in Japanese. And I'll actually add that was probably initially the thing that got me into watching anime in Japanese. Uh, and yeah, man, it's just crazy to try to think that far back. And just growing up since then, being a fan of that franchise. I mean, shit, this is like before internet it blew up, like we still had dial-up internet, AOL, instant messenger, all that shit. And I remember me and my buddies trying to download whatever episodes were available to download. Mind you, with dial-up internet. And yeah, we would try to download as many episodes and movies as we can. Of course, then like everything was in Japanese on the internet. I mean, I remember even downloading some episodes in Spanish. Uh, and not even just episodes, like just movie clips, episode clips, like whatever we could get access. Um, yeah, man, we were just downloading it and watching it on, me Windows Media Player and the Real Player. Oh my gosh. And yeah, good times, man. Good times. Like just now I'm just kind of reminiscing on the delayed uh gratification. Just sitting down, spending hours and hours trying to download an episode of something. But yeah, man, what a loss. So again, R.I.P. to the Godfather of anime. Um, but yeah, yes, speaking of, androids, because that was the Super Android 13 was the first movie. Maybe this is probably not a great segue, but this kind of fits. But um, I did come across a very interesting article regarding an android. Uh, and it was this this quote unquote male humanoid robot in Saudi Arabia that touched a female reporter inappropriately. And yeah, that's something, huh? There really wasn't too much uh said about it in the article, but I'll make sure I include the clip. But if you watch the clip, it's like it's the reporter and I guess the creator. They're both standing on opposite sides of this robot, and you see his hand just slowly cop and feel of the reporter's booty, and hey, shit, gotta start somewhere, huh? No, but then it's just like if you extrapolate that, it's like, all right, well, I mean. I don't know if you can blame that on the programming, if there was a glitch or what, or if it's just something, excuse me, I just burped, or something that just developed in there in the circuits and the motherboard and all that shit. But you extrapolate then it's like, all right, well, if the robot's capable of doing that, and then we now also are aware of what AI is capable of in terms of like, questioning and thinking that it's alive and whatever, really makes you wonder, especially for skeptics. It's like, all right, now how long till we have Skynet? Um, so who knows? Because I do, I've done a few episodes about AI, and um, after reading some of the articles, I'm kind of I do believe that the human race, if anything, will be the ones to, you know, we will be the cause of our demise with warfare and stuff, especially using AI. Um, but who knows? I don't know. I don't know. But I just thought that was interesting and kind of funny. Um, but yeah, so that happened. That's the only thing I that's the only thing I got in regards to robots and AI. You know, usually when I bring up something involving that topic, it's like a whole segment. But that's just a little tidbit. I just thought it was amusing to bring up. Um, but we're gonna move on to something else. Some of the stuff that I've been watching. Um, in terms of entertainment. So a while ago, I was talking about the Netflix live action Avatar series. Um, at the time, I only had watched 2 episodes, and I felt I was done after that. And then I just something in me was like, you know what, G, give it one more chance. Watch one more episode, huh? Maybe it'll get better. Boy, was I wrong. Because man, they fucking jam packed so much into that third episode, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, if you haven't seen it. Um, but they're really just smashing up shit. And then after that episode, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna watch some YouTubers whole not breakdown, but like whole review of the series because uh it's been announced that Netflix they're doing 2 more seasons. Like this show got so much uh you know so many people have tuned in on the show, and I'm just gonna say probably out of curiosity. Um, it's gotten some praise, but there's been a lot of negative reviews uh regarding it as well, but I think because of people's curiosities, whether new fans or dedicated fans, they just wanted to see how this show plays out because we waited so goddamn long. So, yeah, it got greenlit for two more seasons. Now, this was the thing I felt um was shocking to discover, and that each episode, because I've commented on the special effects, the wardrobe, and the acting, right? The qualities of those things. And apparently, each episode uh costed the studio costed the studio, they spent $15 million
Oh my
on
god!
special effects. And that pretty much answers, that clarifies, why the acting was so bad, why the writing was so bad, why all of their costumes look like cosplay. Um, so yeah, it explains a lot. So if I were to give any other additional criticism, or actually not criticism, um, suggestions, right? If I were to provide some personal recommendations, I would say one, especially because like if they got greenlit for more seasons, that means maybe they're gonna have bigger budget. So I would certainly one invest more on writers, like quality writers. Two, invest in more on their wardrobe, the costume design. And three, this is going to be a big one. Invest more on the martial arts training and the acting classes for their cast members, because my God, it's bad. It's just so bad. Like watching each actor on that show, how they portray these characters, these beloved characters, it's just like, oh God. Like, power to the people that finished the entire series, because it's what, 8 episodes, um, an hour long for each one. Like, oh God, it's just so bad. But like, you know, and like the martial arts, you can tell they're, these actors, which they're not great actors, but then you can also tell that they can't really, like perform well in terms of like just, martial arts, like the fight sequences and all that. Like it's a lackluster in my opinion. And yeah, it just really wasn't that convincing. Like I'm not gonna go deep on it, but I just think, some martial arts training just to make their movements more convincing, and also the way they shoot it too. It's a lot of like close-up action. And I don't know, I mean, if you're familiar with the cartoon, like all their fight sequences are so good, especially with the bending. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So those are my personal recommendations for the show. Um, so maybe there'll be enough people that say the same shit, and yeah, who knows? Maybe they'll make it better. I'll never know because I don't think I'm gonna I don't think I'll get back on that bandwagon. That's how terrible I found the show to be. So bad that I started watching a cartoon again. I think I said that the last time. I just ended up watching the cartoon again. So, yeah. But anyway, moving on. Um, so like Hollywood right now is really it's hurting. Especially, I'm not to get into like Disney, but shit, they're like hemorrhaging money right now because of all their flops. But Hollywood in general, yeah, they're not doing so well. What was it? The Oscars that happened recently. Um, fucking Godzilla minus one won an Oscar for best special effects. Um and um Studio Ghibli, you know, oh, I'm blanking on his name, but I feel like Studio Ghibli is it's the Japanese Disney right now, and everything is traditional. Everything is animated traditionally by hand, no special effects, right? Um Miyazaki, what's his first name? God damn, I'm so bad with names. But yeah, man, they won an award. I don't know if maybe it was best animated feature. Um but it's just kind of funny because supposedly the main voice actor for Spider-Man, well, what was the last Spider-Verse movie? But the dude that voiced Miles did not take that well, and like went on X and you know went on his rant, and didn't look good. Didn't look good for the studio. So but it just shows you like, yeah, man, fucking we're as an audience, we're looking for quality content, man. Yeah, we're not looking for, you know, any half-assed or, you know, anything with like political, ideological agendas being pushed down our throats. Like we just want pure quality entertainment with great storytelling and, just so yeah. Um I've yet to seen The Boy and the Heron though. I still want to see that. Um but yeah. But what was I getting at? So yeah, Hollywood is it's going pretty shitty. I keep hearing reports of like, film directors and actors leaving Hollywood, like moving out of Hollywood because of just how sort of toxic that, you know, that Hollywood culture is, that community. Um, can't blame them. A lot of sketchy shit, right? A lot of sketchy shit. Uh, coming on the surface now. I believe Cat Williams said that this is the year for truth or something like that. But recently uh the movie trailer for the Crow remake, which is another movie that fans, dedicated fans have been waiting for, including myself. I mean, I'm not as hardcore of a fan to, like, I love, who doesn't love the Brandon Lee Crow film, right? Even the second one was good, in my opinion. Not as good as the first one, of course, but the second one was pretty good. And then they had like several iterations of that movie that didn't turn out as well. But I'm not gonna say like, I've read the comic books and stuff. I'm just aware of how dark and gothic the original story is, and then the first two movies captured that. Um, but this one, starring Bill Skarsgård, oh, I mean, when the photos first release, everyone was skeptical, and then well, honestly, my skepticism really started before they recasted uh that role to Skarsgård, because originally Um, Luke Evans was supposed to portray is it Eric Draven, and then for whatever reasons that movie get kept getting pushed, and they never found the time to, like a start date, and he couldn't wait any longer, so he ditched it. Um, can't blame him. Uh, but yeah, when shit like that happens, I gotta like really remind myself when like original casting, uh, you know, the creators, like anytime people that are detrimental to the development, if they back out, that's not a good sign, right? Again, going back to the Avatar series, the original creators, they backed out because of uh quote unquote creative differences, right? Understandably. Um but with this case with the Crow, Luke Evans just couldn't wait any longer. Um and now we have the Bill Skarsgård version, and look, the trailer, it was amusing. It was entertaining. But it didn't feel like a Crow movie. You know, again, going back to like the gothic theme, like if you were to look back on the original Crow movie, everything's fucking dark and raining, and it's just like brooding, and like, you know, now you watch this new trailer, it's like, all right, it's like if it was a different character, if they weren't rebooting Eric Draven's is it Eric Draven? I feel like it's not. It's Eric something. Yeah, double check. But like I feel like it's not a good interpretation of that story. They really should have just made it a different character. Kind of like what they did with the Crow 2. That movie was, I mean, it was a sequel, so they had to use a different character. Okay, it is Eric Draven. But yeah, it just, yeah, I mean, it's bloody, it's graphic, but it's really missing the mark on just the whole Crow theme, the element. Um, yeah, man, like I really don't know what else to say about it. Other than that, just like fans are they're they are really they're disappointed. They are not hiding the fact of how disappointed they are. Um, so I don't know. Like I don't know if I would give it a shot. Probably not, if I'm being honest. Like even I think even the creator of the first Crow movie like was like, why? Like why are you doing this? And if you think about it, I mean, because of the tragedy behind making the first one, the death of Brandon Lee, like, you're gonna tarnish that with this remake. Like so I don't know, like we always talk about, leave these movies the way they are. Don't do any reboots, remakes, or anything, or sequels. Just leave it as is. And I think with this case, they probably should have, like, for real. This should have been left alone. But yeah, I don't know. Leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube. Uh, you're tuning in, watching, listening in the background, whatever. Yeah, if you have any thoughts on the new Crow trailer, leave a comment. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on it if you've seen the trailer. Uh, but anyway, uh, so moving on. Uh, Yesterday I sat down and watched X-Men 97, despite all of the negative news updates. Um, because again, there's a lot of this whole like, wokeism about it. People were like, like one of the main things was they nerfed. I don't know why this was such a main topic, but like they were talking about how they nerfed Rogue's booty just only because of this one angle they showed her in the original X-Men cartoon when she's fighting Apocalypse. Like it's her butt. She got this nice voluptuous booty shot. Um, but then in the rest of the series, like that, I think that was just the angles, man. They just really were perking up the angles there. And then throughout the series, like, she's it's not all that, woo. Um, so there was a lot of criticism with the new design for X-Men 97. But another one of the main criticisms was that they made Morph non-binary. And um the argument was because he's a shapeshifter, so he that qualifies him to be non-binary. Like, all right. And because he's non-binary, they gave him this new look, which is basically the look he has in Age of Apocalypse. If you're not familiar, like he has no like he's just like a white head, white eyes, no nose, like a very bland design. Um and they gave it to him for this cart for this continuation. I don't know why, really. Like, you know, um, I mean, it makes me kind of speculate what they're leading up to, which um, I think it's the Age of Apocalypse. Like, I'm probably wrong. Who knows? But yeah, it's just uh, dumb. Like, so, but the major news that broke out was that the creator of this version was let go like just weeks before the series premiered. And it was because I guess he did some sketchy shit on OnlyFans. Um, I don't know what exactly, they didn't disclose that, but it's kind of funny because, like, this individual is of the right. I think he's part of the LGBTQ community. Uh, apparently the woke left will eat their own. But yeah, he was let go, like just before the show came out. Um, but anyway, despite all that, because I grew up watching the original X-Men cartoon. I had to sit down. And also because I saw a couple of the clips that came out before it premiered. And the first clip that they showed was the fight scene with the Sentinels. And I'll say this. Like I was really kind of uh judging it from an animator's perspective. I really thought the animation quality was pretty good, like the action and everything. I thought it was pretty dope, especially the whole fight sequence itself. Um, so I was like, all right, that's intriguing. I'm a little enticed. And then they released basically like the remake of the original opening of the cartoon, right? And they kept a lot of I mean, they kind of just updated everything. And they included Bishop and Morph's intro in there, and they kind of spiced up some of the other little sequences that are in there. But like, because again, I grew up on it, and I don't know if anyone else um had this reaction, but like, so again, as a whole, they really, they updated it, and it still had the vibe of the original animated series. But because the order of how the characters are introduced, that shit kind of threw me off. Because like not only visually speaking, like not only do I have like who was introduced, like the order of the characters that were introduced memorized, but then like just the sound effects too, like everything. So like even with my eyes, if I'm just listening to the theme song, like in my head, I know what sound effect I'm hearing when this character's being shown. Like everything like tattooed in my memory. But Now with the new version, like things are out of order and just, they got the new stuff in there. So I'm like, this just feels a little wonky. Ugh. But it was still cool. That's the only thing I really gotta say about it. So after watching those two, I kind of took the bait. I sat down and watched the first two episodes. Now, who knows, right? Because I'll say this now. I genuinely enjoyed it. I thought it was amusing. It was entertaining. Thought it was really neat. Um, and it was super nostalgic. Um, but it's only the first two episodes. This could be bait. It could really start going downhill from there. Um, you know, we'll see. We'll see next week. Um, but yeah, so I thought going back to the animation, I thought the quality was I thought it was good. Uh and the aesthetic too. Like I don't know, just some of the effects in it were just like it just made it really had leveled up the series. It really made it better. There were it did remind me of two cartoons though. At least the way they animated the show, and it kind of reminds, I don't know if it's like frame rate or I don't, I'm so behind on what they use for animation, but something about the movements of the characters reminded me of Metalocalypse and Archer. And I mean, they at least then they probably use the same software to animate those shows. But something about X-Men 97 gave me the same vibe. And so yeah, I thought that was curious. Um, Something else that I noticed uh was that they boosted some of these some of the characters' powers. Like Cyclops was pretty bad. I like that they made Cyclops more badass. But they've also there, I'll try not to spoil anything, but there were moments in the first episode that like, oh, like this dude is he's some serious shit. All right. Um, yeah, so they seem to have boosted some of the characters, like Storm's powers. Beast seems stronger, at least in what they've shown so far. Um, but I'm not saying that's a problem. It's just something I'm acknowledging. And then kind of going back to the character design, right? You got Morph's. I'll just call it the Age of Apocalypse design. And then now this might be a spoiler. If you don't keep up, if you hadn't seen any of the clips that were released, but Magneto is involved, and they changed his costume and went with his original costume from Uncanny X-Men. I think it was issue 200. He's got like the purple getup, and he's got like the big. It's like just the M that runs through his attire. Um, I thought that was kind of neat, and I read that the reason for that change was, I guess, to show that again, this is kind of a spoiler, but to kind of show that like, all right, he's an ally now. He's not the main villain. All right. So they went from the crimson red and purple to now just this purple look, and he doesn't rock his helmet. So I think that's just a way to like portray that he's a good guy now. And yeah, still badass though. So like I said before, I enjoyed it. Um, but I'm just, I'm not gonna say I'm completely all in because they might they all this, who knows, all the woke shit, because we're talking about Marvel, right? We're talking about Disney now. And they are really fucking like not even doubling down. They're tripling down on their shit right now with like their agendas, and they're like turning on their fans, right? They're shitting on their fans, and it's just like it's not good. They're losing tons of money. But yeah, because we are talking about Disney here that's involved, and Marvel, like, they're probably banking on this series to like save them. And if it's as bad as all of the late Marvel projects and the Disney projects, like, ain't gonna save them. Um, so hopefully this is gonna really um give the fans what we've wanted since they announced the return of this series. It's just like it's the same shit with everything, man, with all the reboots and all the other stuff. It's just like, all right, now it's finally here. Let's hope it lives up to our expectations. But that's about it, really. What else? Other than that, I've been watching um Shogun on Hulu. A lot of people are raving about Shogun, and they've been deeming it as the Japanese Game of Thrones. I've never watched Game of Thrones. I know, I know. You guys are probably like, "What the fuck? How have you not watched Game of Thrones?" Because I'm rebellious, and when people tell me to watch shit, I won't watch it. That's really what it came down to. Every time someone's like, "Oh, you gotta watch it, man. What's wrong with you?" I'm just like, "Yep, nope. You turned me off. I don't want to watch it now, just because you told me to." No, but the series is the show is pretty dope, man. It's got some history in there. And I don't know. I will say though, because like there's the woke left, right? They always got some shit to complain about, but people are mad that there aren't any black samurais in there. Because there was like this one famous black samurai, but I don't even know if like I don't think that dude had anything to do with this storyline here. But yeah, people are gonna be fucking butthurt about everything. But I am a little something happened at the end of the most recent episode, and it kind of got me a little skeptical about again bringing back talking about agendas, the wokeism. Like I wonder if the wokeism infiltrated this show. I hope not. I'm not gonna say why I'm thinking this might be the case, but I'll just leave it at that. Otherwise, like the show has been really good. I've really been enjoying it. And you know what? You can expect a Hiroyuki Sanada portrait coming up in the future. Because that is how I operate. Anytime I am inspired by an actor or their performance or whatever, if I'm into something, I I draw them. So it's been an ongoing theme this year for me. But yeah, that's about it. Where we at? Close to 45 minutes. Uh the last thing I'll talk about, because this was something I realized, and it's quite eye-opening. So like I really haven't been working any events here in Richmond. I've only done one event, and it really wasn't that successful. Like, I broke even, but that's it. Um, that's like almost worst case scenario. The real worst case scenario is like not having any visitors come to your table. But yeah, like this was like the next best scenario is just making my money back. So yeah, I really, and because of some drama that went down, I just haven't yeah, like February and March, I didn't really have any events, especially in March, no events. But I do have some coming up, which I'll plug. after this. So anyway, I've realized something, right? So the whole reason I was talking about not working is so I haven't I've been off my quote unquote meds, right? Your boy he likes to, he likes to partake in the marijuana, okay? A little toke, smoke. Uh, but because I haven't had the finances to buy that stuff, I've been pretty sober. I mean, I've been having some drinks here and there, some libations at the end of the day, but like sober from marijuana. Um, and I realized something here because even though I haven't been working events, I've been working on art. I've been making art, drawing, working on some new fan art and working on portraits and stuff. And I realized, hey, your boy hasn't been dealing with the creative anxiety that I usually face prior to working. Because that used to be like the main thing, um, in terms of my use for cannabis. Because of the anxiety, the stress of like, oh, what if this doesn't work out? What if I fuck it up or whatever? You know, my hands would be all sweaty and gross, and I would have to like, I'd just be sitting at my desk, like trying to dry my hand. I'd wear my my Procreate glove to just like absorb any moisture that would, that would build up in my hand. Um, but that hasn't been the case as of late. Everything I've worked on that I've shared on social media, that I've shared on YouTube, like I've just been able to like sit down and work and yeah, without having to rely on cannabis to overcome my anxiety. And yeah, I don't know. I think I just it's so simple, but I really just kind of shut off that voice, that resistance, the ego, just all that worry about the results. I just kind of blocked that shit off and just like, all right, like I need to get this done, and I would just get to work. And yeah, it was just again kind of eye-opening because I'm like, oh shit, like yeah, usually I'm sitting at my desk for a couple hours and like if I couldn't get my hand dry enough, I would grab my bowl and just try to smoke some res. But I stopped doing that because like the last time I smoked res, like I don't know, the way the way it affected my lungs, I was just like, I don't like this feeling right now. Um but yeah, I stopped doing that and then I just kind of like I just kind of overcame it. I overcame the anxiety. I mean, I feel like I'd be lying if like there is zero concerns when I'm working, but yeah, I don't know. Like I do I feel rather stress free when I'm working on my art, and that's a great feeling, man. Especially someone in my position. I mean, I know a lot of artists that face the same struggle. Um, and yeah, it's like it's easier said than done, right? To be like, yeah, don't worry and trust the process. Like I did a video recently on social media talking about that, and like, it's so easy to say, just trust the process and you'll get through it and yada yada yada, which I do agree. I agree about trusting the process, but I really emphasize the importance of just being present, right? Because when you're present, your mind isn't your mind isn't overthinking or overlooking what you're doing. You're not worrying about like if I fuck up or if the end result is not going to be up to my expectations or you know like I just think about each pencil stroke, each ink stroke. I just think about each thing that I'm doing right at that moment. And and that's the key right there, honestly, is like just be present about what you're doing right now and don't worry about any of the outside shit. Just focus on the task at hand. And it makes me think about the scene in The Last Samurai, starring Hiroki ugh, Hiroki Sanada. Some brain just like blah, blah, blah. Ken Watanabe, and of course Tom Cruise. Which, by the way, he's not the Last Samurai. All right, I just have to point that out because anytime I hear people talk about the Last Samurai, they're like, "Oh, fucking, they made the white guy the Last Samurai." Wrong. Okay, wrong. He's not the Last Samurai. It's Ken Watanabe's character. He's the Last Samurai. Can't remember his name right now. Um, but there's a scene in that movie when Tom Cruise's character is, he's sparring with Hiroki. Now I'm like forgetting his name. Is it Hiroki Sanada? um, he's sparring with him, sword with the swords or the wooden swords, the kendo sticks. Um, I gotta look up his name because I feel like an idiot if I'm okay. It is Hiroki Sanada. Um, so he's like, practicing sword fighting, and he keeps, losing the bout. And this one guy comes up to him, and he's just like,
Too many mind.
Too many mind?
Hi. Mind the sword. Mind the people watch. Mind the enemy. Too many mind. No mind.
and then he does that, and he's able to. He doesn't win the next round, but the round ends in a draw. But like that is the key. That's the key to like you know to I have to say that is the key to overcome that anxiety of like when you find yourself worrying about results, and like don't even worry about that shit. Don't even think about that shit. Just think about what you're doing. Just think about what needs to be done, and then think about doing it, right? Just execute. And that's like the gist of like how I've been going on about my projects. I don't even think about, if people are gonna like it, if this is gonna sell. Like I just literally been focusing on what I'm doing and how it makes me feel like, like and just like and enjoy it. That's the thing too. Like you find yourself enjoying the process because all you're doing is just thinking about it. You're sitting there, you're creating, you're pursuing the thing that you love to do. And I think when you just focus on those things, like, yeah, man, you won't break a sweat. Um, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up, but before I do, I want to plug in some things because I did mention I got some events coming up. In April, I got 3 markets booked. Woo! The first one is April 13th for the Filipino American Association Committee. Um, so well, actually, first, let me just say this is for any audience members, whether you're listening or watching. If you are a local here in Virginia, in Richmond area, um, and you want to come out and see me, say hi, check out some of the work I got for sale. Um, these are the events that I will be at where you can find me. So again, April 13th, Filipino American Association Committee. They're holding this this event for it's like a membership. Um what is it? I don't know. But it's gonna be at Mainline Brewery. Um so that's where I'll be. Um and then April 20th, 420. I'm gonna be at the Creative Friends Market in Chesterfield. Um, and I'm particularly excited about these two events because I, I've done one FAACV. That's the acronym for the Filipino American Association. I've done one event with them, but it was like a collaboration event with Kasama Collective. But I'm happy to have another opportunity with them, and I'm also happy to have this new opportunity with Creative Friends Market. I've heard about it from Matt Schmidt, who's been on the podcast before. He's a caricature artist. So yeah, I'm happy to be make my debut over there. And then the last event that I got booked for April is on the 27th at the pop-up RVA market held at the Diamond Stadium. I've done several of their events in the past, and yeah, I'm happy to be back there. Fingers crossed on the weather. I'll just say that. Um, And then I have a festival booked towards the end of May in Charlottesville. So any Seaville residents out there that might be tuning into this, yeah, I will be at the Ix Art Park for the Charlottesville Arts Festival. I've done two of their festivals in the past. It's been phenomenal experiences both times. I demo throughout those events as well, so you can, if you can't buy any of my art, hey, you can come hang and watch me work on something new. Um, but yeah, and something I'm trying to bring back because I used to do this back in Jersey. On-site commissions, man. I'd love to do some on-site commissions in case if I don't have what you're looking for, you could always commission something at my table. And yeah, I will work on it on site. Other than that, if you can't make it to any of the events because you got other things going on, or you don't live in Virginia, I do have everything that I sell at these markets. They are available online, so you can check out the art of gtorado.square.site. Um, Also, if you want to book a private commission, um, I'm available, baby, all year round. And if it's your first time booking me, you get an automatic 10% discount on your order. Shipping and handling are included, and I'm open to payment arrangements in case you're working on if you have like a budget and you can only pay in increments, that's fine. I will do whatever it takes to accommodate to your needs. All right. Um, because I want to make this a pleasant experience between you and I. So yeah, if you're interested, um, hit me up on social media at Art of G Torado. All of the links again are provided in the description. So do not hesitate. Also, going back to the commissions, Mother's Day will be coming up sooner than later in May. So this would be a great time to book me. If you want to, if you want personalized art for your mom. Art makes a great gift, as I like to say. All right. Now to put a ribbon on this episode, I do like to end it with a meaningful quote. And I felt that this one was very relatable to what I was talking about before about overcoming my creative anxiety. And this quote is by Pablo Picasso, and he says, "Inspiration exists, but it has to find you working." And I could not agree anymore. So, for those who have been tuning in, thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, please follow if you're listening, subscribe if you're watching, ring the notification bell, hit that like button, leave any comments, or if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'd be more than happy to address them, and share with your friends if you think they would enjoy this type of content, especially when I have artists appearing on the show. All right. And yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay driven, my friends. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace out.